Mercedes has revealed George Russell retired from the Canadian Grand Prix on lap 54 due to brake cooling issues, despite heavy contact with the turn 9 wall 42 laps earlier. Russell was chasing the Aston Martin of Fernando Alonso when he went wide at turn 8, clattered into the barrier and triggered the safety car. Meanwhile, up front, Red Bull's Max Verstappen took the brand's 100th win, becoming just the 5th team in history to do so, after Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes and Williams. Jacques Villeneuve hit the headlines in Canada after the 1997 F1 world champion revealed Charles Leclerc hadn't spoken with his family before creating a special helmet dedicated to Ferrari icon Gilles. 2023 marked 45 years since the late great Canucks' maiden F1 win, the first at Ile Notre Dame, making Leclerc's helmet idea a logical move, but required clearance given intellectual property and sponsors. Villeneuve, however, put Leclerc in touch with his family, who cleared the design, but not before it became a hot topic on social media. Unfortunately, the incident was blown out of proportion, turning it into an unnecessary controversy, he said. Staying with Charles Leclerc, whose situation at Ferrari continues to spiral, with the talented Monegasque worried the Scuderia still doesn't know why it struggled at the Spanish Grand Prix. Leclerc was a surprise Q1 knockout in Barcelona after handling issues through left-hand corners. The squad changed the car's entire rear end for the race, but the damage was done and he finished 11th for his 3rd non-score in 7 races. Canada was much better, with Leclerc finishing 4th, but the 25-year-old remains concerned that Ferrari is no wiser on its Barcelona gremlins. This is a little bit more worrying, and that's where we need to push and try to understand the reasons of it, because obviously the feeling was really bad, he said. Red Bull's Max Verstappen would like to see his fellow world champion Fernando Alonso win a race this year, with the Dutchman describing him as a real racer and an animal. Red Bull has won 18 of the last 19 races, including 8 to start the year, with Verstappen on top in the last 4 straight. But while the Dutch star says his squad could claim all 22 races this season, he also admitted he would like to see Alonso win if he can't. I like him. He never gave up, and you can see he loves the sport. Sometimes after so many years of only having a car that is capable of driving in the midfield, maybe you lose a bit of that love, but he is a real racer. He is an animal, he said. So Lewis Hamilton says there's no rush to finalize his contract extension with Mercedes, though admitted progress has been made. The 7-time F1 world champion is a free agent at the end of the year, but there's no intention to switch teams or even quit the sport, though the expected 2-year deal is likely to be his last, with a reportedly lucrative long-term extension to sit beyond that as a Mercedes ambassador, given his career with the brand. Silver Arrow's boss Toto Wolff says the deal will be sorted in days more than weeks, but Hamilton was relaxed when pushed on timing. We had a good meeting just recently. They are very complex contracts. It's not just a simple driving contract, said Hamilton. Joe Guanyu says he was surprised by recent news that James Key will join the Alfa Romeo squad in September as technical director, replacing Jan Monchaux, who has been with the team since 2018. The Sauber-run squad is preparing for its Audi takeover from 2026, with Key, previously with McLaren, a headline hire for the German marque's forthcoming debut campaign. But while Guanyu says Monchaux did a good job and is not out of the team, he backed Sauber CEO Andreas Seidel's move. I am happy to take whoever Andreas takes. He is a good guy and knows what he is doing for the best of the team, he said. Rookie McLaren driver Oscar Piastri has revealed the extent to which his manager, ex-F1 pilot Mark Webber, has been coaching him this year, with his countryman even suggesting questions to ask his engineers to help solve issues with the still underperforming MCL 60. Piastri entered F1 this year with McLaren as the sport's hottest prospect, given his 3 straight junior crowns. But Webber has continued to give advice where it's needed, including tactics on track. He's still very sharp. He thinks like a racing driver still, and is always trying to get the best out of me, Piastri said. F1 Supremo Stefano Domenicali says the sport does not need more than 10 teams for a great show, putting the emphasis on aspiring entrants to bring overwhelming value. Applications have now closed for one of 2 new spots on the grid from as early as 2025. But Domenicali, in a State of the Nation chat with F1's official podcast Beyond the Grid, said strengthening the sport's existing teams makes more sense.
Can you imagine 20 cars, so 10 teams at the level where there is a competition on the track? It would be impressive. So I would say, let's wait and see. My no is not against someone who wants to come in. I need to clarify that because otherwise it seems that they want to be protectionist. That is not the case.
Domenicali also spoke about 24 being the optimal number of events, that Madrid is interested in holding a race but would have to outbid Barcelona after its current deal, which ends following the 2026 event, and that F1 is looking at rotating selected races on a biennial basis.
Today we are worldwide calendar approach with bigger, more races for sure, but I think that in Europe, even in the future, I'm expecting to see races where the rotational principle could be applied, but not two in the same year.
Red Bull's 2014 lineup, 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel and Daniel Ricciardo, are set to reunite this September, with the energy drinks brand bringing the sport back to the Nurburgring Nordschleife. The single-day event, scheduled for September 9, will see Vettel back in his 2011 World Championship-winning RB7, while Ricciardo will drive the 2012 RB8, with 2 more drivers yet to be announced. It'll be the first time in 10 years that F1 cars have run on the iconic circuit, with 7-time world champion Michael Schumacher the last in a 2011 spec Mercedes W02.
The fascination of Nordschleife is obviously back to all the historic happenings. I mean, I don't know how many years we are already here, but it's certainly more than 50 years to my point of view. And the layout, the history, the happenings, the place we are in terms of up and down like a roller coaster, that's what makes Nordschleife so special.
Max Verstappen, however, will not be driving, with Red Bull ruling him out of the event as he would drive the car beyond its limits. Canada has aired its limitations amid the sport's push for a future region-based calendar, with the race's CEO, Francois Dumonty, keen to retain its June slot to avoid weather and event clash concerns. Montreal's colder climate ensures a tight race window from May, when its average high is 17 degrees Celsius, with nice weather holding through to September, with days in the 20s. But Dumonty says a slot later than June won't work, with other pressing limitations coming into effect. It takes time to put everything in place, and in doing so, we risk disrupting the activities of Jean Drapeau Park. In addition, in the fall, we could also find ourselves in conflict with congresses, he said. Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.